Hello everyone, welcome to another concise yet significant learning tutorial on the Pulse FE channel. In the very recent times, Excel has added various new features, notably one that provides significant benefits to users engaged in data analysis within Excel itself. Excel's pivot table is a vital tool for analyzing data, offering great capabilities, but also having certain limitations. Excitingly, Excel is introducing enhanced alternatives for fundamental analytics calculations, providing users with more robust and efficient data analysis options. Recently, two new functions, GroupBy and PivotBy, were introduced in Excel's Alpha channel. In today's discussion, we will delve into the practical applications of these functions. Here we have our favorite sales tables. The sales personnel's table is open here. We have the name of the person, country, product, and person ID. Then on another sheet, we have our sales table. Here we have columns like index, date, country, product category, subcategory, quantity, etc. We will go back to the sales personnel table. Here, let's first insert a pivot table. We will insert that in the existing worksheet and select the first cell where we want the pivot table to come. This opens the pivot table creator. I will drag the country variable to the rows panel and the person variable to the values. The automatically selected value is the count of person variable. Now, I will try to create the same output with the new GroupBy formula. Therefore, I will write in the formula field equal sign, followed by GroupBy, a first bracket. Then we want the row field. Here I am selecting the salesperson table's country column data. For the value field, I am selecting the person column. We want to count persons. Therefore, in the functions section, we will write count A for counting non-blank cells. When we selected the variables, we did not select the headers. Therefore, we will write 0 for field headers, and then we will end the first bracket. Here we have the same pivot table created with a formula. Now, let's insert another pivot table from the same sales personnel data. This time, we will add country to the rows panel and product to the columns. For values, we will use the count of person like in the previous pivot table. Here we have our desired pivot table. We want to build the same pivot with the new PivotBy function. Let me arrange the columns and space a little. I will select a cell and write a formula with the equal sign followed by PivotBy, the first bracket open. Then for the row field, I write the salesperson country. In the column fields, I write the product variable, followed by the person variable for the values, and use the same count A function for value. As I have only selected the values and not the headers, I will use 0 for field headers and then 1 for showing the grand total, then close brackets. Here we have the same pivot table created just with the PivotBy formula. Let's now open our sales table. Here we will learn a trick first. Let's first write a simple formula and click on the edge of the column country once. It selects the country column's data section only, but not the header. However, if I click the same spot twice, it selects the whole column of the table along with the header. And when the header is selected along with the data, you see the hash all before the country variable. Let's come back to our main lesson. We will use the GroupBy function and use the country variable with the header for rows. Then, use a colon to add a range of rows and select the product category variable. This will create a pivot with multiple variables. For value, I will select the range of variables from quantities to unit cost. Use the sum function for values, and then for headers, we will use 3 to show the headers, then add 1 to show the grand totals. Close the bracket, and then we have this pivot table created just with a formula. For totals, if we select 2, then we will have one row inserted after each country with the subtotal for that country. But this pivot table was created with a range of variables, where variables were side by side in the data table. Suppose you want to use variables that are separated by other variables, then what do? Then we can use the hstack function to horizontally stack variables. Suppose we want country and subcategory in our pivot. We can hstack these two variables to create a pivot. We keep every other parameter the same and boom, we have the pivot with country and subcategory. The new GroupBy and PivotBy functions are remarkably effective and adaptable to changing data. They have the potential to fully replace pivot tables in the future. If you found the video helpful, please consider subscribing to the Pulse FE channel and sharing it with others. I've included a link to the file used in this video in the description box. Please download it and study the contents. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching.